everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our brand new series of UPSC Prelims Model Questions Practice, and today it is your 7th lecture. Now those who are new to this channel, let me inform you briefly that this particular series is our latest initiative in which every day we discuss top 5 questions that are relevant for your upcoming UPSC Prelims examination. So here we just not see which of the questions are right and which are wrong. Instead, we analyze each of the statement in a detailed manner to make our concepts super transparent, okay? So now let's start. Question number 1. In recent months, various mutants of SARS-CoV-2 were making news. In this context, consider the following matches. First of all, what is mutation? So this is a process by which the genetic structure of the virus undergoes some kind of change. So there are basically 3 types of mutation. First is a single mutant, and this arises when a single mutation occurs in the genetic material, okay? For example, in the year 2020, the S type mutated into L type strain, okay? Then second is double mutant. It arises when 2 mutations combine to form a new variant, okay? And example is B1617 variant has 2 mutations. First is E484Q and second is L452R, okay? I know we are going into depth, but I'm just trying to explain the things. And the third one is triple mutant. And this variant arises when 3 mutations combine to give a new variant, okay? And the example is Bengal variant, or you can say it as B1618, okay? Now what is SARS? It is severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, okay? Now you have to identify which of the following are correct. First is UK variant. This is also called as Kent variant and it is prevalent in Britain. And the mutation is also correct, B117. So at the earlier stage it had 2 lakh cases identified and later it is spread to more than 50 countries and appears to be mutating again, okay? Now second is Brazil variant, B1351. Actually this one is not Brazil variant, rather it is a South Africa variant. And it has been identified in at least 20 other countries. While the Brazil variant is P.1 and it has spread to more than 10 other countries, okay? So first is right, second is wrong, and third is India variant B1617. So yes, a particular India variant B1617 has 3 lineages, B1617-1, then its second form and its third form. And this has been declared as variant of concern by the World Health Organization. Okay, so correct answer is only 1 and 3, means option number C. Question number 2. With reference to the various space research programs or missions, which of the following are correct statements? So regarding different types of space research programs, you have to identify which of the following statements are correct, okay? The first statement says Pioneer 10 was the first mission to leave solar system. So do remember that Pioneer 10 is the first mission to the planet Jupiter. Also, it is the first spacecraft to traverse the asteroid belt, and it is also the first to fly beyond the planet Mars. So yes, it is the first mission to leave solar system as well. It is a mission of NASA which was launched in the year 1972, and it was the first to reach the escape velocity to leave the solar system, and it has crossed solar system and not heading towards Taurus constellation. Okay, what is escape velocity? It is actually a velocity or speed or momentum given to any body with which it never comes back and goes to the outer space. Okay, so this is correct. Second statement says NASA's New Frontier program conducts research primarily on bodies beyond the solar system. First of all, what is New Frontiers program? It is actually a series of space exploration missions with the purpose of researching several of solar system bodies, including the dwarf planet Pluto. So this program is a series of medium budget space exploration missions for studying the solar system, and so far 3 missions have been launched and are in progress. First is New Horizon, or you can say it as New Frontier 1. It was launched in the year 2006 and reached Pluto in the year 2015. Then second is Juno, which is New Frontier 2, and it was launched in the year 2011 and entered the Jupiter orbit in the year 2016. And last is OSIRIS-REx, which is the New Frontier 3. It was launched in September 2016 towards the asteroid Bennu for detailed studies from 2018 to 2021, and a sample returned to Earth in the year 2023. And the fourth mission under New Frontier program is Dragonfly, which is a proposed astrobiology mission to the Saturn's moon Titan. Okay, so the third statement says Dragonfly is an astrobiology mission to the Saturn's moon Titan. Yes, it is obviously correct. And the Dragonfly mission would be launched in the year 2026 and will land in the year 2034. And this will be the very first time NASA will fly a multi-rotor vehicle for science on other planet. And talking about Titan, it is the largest moon of Saturn and second largest moon in the solar system. Why it is important? Because it has liquid rivers, lakes and seas on its surface. Okay, so here correct answer becomes only 1 and 3, because second is not correct due to this word beyond. Because already I have told you that this New Frontier program is a mission for studying the solar system, not beyond solar system. Okay, so correct answer becomes only 1 and 3. Now next question. Apart from Mount Everest, Himalaya is known to have several 8,000ers, peaks with elevation above 8,000 meters. Which of the following are such peaks? So 8,000ers means those peaks which have a height or an elevation of 8,000 meters or more than that. Okay, so you have to identify which of the following peaks fall into this category. First is Nanga Parbat, Nanda Devi and Mount Kailash. First of all, talking about Mount Everest, it is the tallest mountain on earth when measured from sea level, and it is located at the Nepal-China border with an elevation of 8,848 meters, and obviously it is one of the 8,000ers. Okay, now next is Nanga Parbat. So it is a 8,126 meters Himalayan peak where in Gilgit-Baltistan. Also it is known as Killer Mountain due to the high number of fatalities recorded among the climbers of this peak, and also it is one of the 8,000ers. So this is correct. Second is Nanda Devi. This is located in the state of Uttarakhand and is 7,816 meter high. So this is not an 8,000er. Okay. Also it is the second highest mountain peak in India, and the UNESCO World Heritage Site Nanda Devi National Park is located around it. So this is wrong. Third is Mount Kailash. It is a Himalayan peak in the Trans-Himalayan region and it is 6,638 meters high, located in Tibet. So this also do not meet the criteria. So correct answer becomes only 1. Now apart from Mount Everest and Nanga Parbat, let's talk about some of the 8,000ers more. There is K2, or you can say Godwin Austen. It is in Pakistan with a height of 8611 meters. Then there is Kanchenjunga, which is in Nepal and it has a height of 8586 meters. Then there is Lhotse. It is also in Nepal and has a height of 8516 meters. Then there is Makalu, again in Nepal, with a height of 8463 meters. So actually the data is not relevant, but yes, you have to remember these peaks, okay? Then there is Cho Oyu from Nepal with a height of 8201 meters. Next is Dhoolagiri, again in Nepal with 8167 meters height. Next is Manaslu, again from Nepal, height is 8163 meters. Then one more from Nepal named as Annapurna, height is 8091 meters. Then there is Gasher Brahm 1 in Pakistan and China and height is 8068 meters. Then Gasher Brahm 2, it is in Pakistan, height is 8035 meters. Then last two, Broad Peak in Pakistan and China, height is 8047 meters. And the last is Shisha Pangma. It is in Tibet with a height of 8013 meters. So these are the several 8,000ers which you have to remember, okay? Now next is, with reference to various research stations of India in Antarctica, which of the following is our correct statements? Now first statement says, Bharti was India's first scientific research station in Antarctica. No, not Bharti but Dakshin Gangotri was established in the year 1984 as India's first scientific research station in Antarctica, but later on it was decommissioned in the year 1990. So this is wrong. And the second statement says, both Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri are India's permanent research stations in Antarctica. No, Bharti is the India's permanent research station in the Antarctica and it began operations in the year 2012 and it is located in the Larseman Hills in Ritz Bay in Antarctica, okay? Then there is Natri, which is also called as Friendship Research Center. It is the India's second permanent Antarctic research station and it was established in the year 1989, located in Queen Maud Land in Antarctica, okay? But obviously Dakshin Gangotri is not the permanent research station of India. So that's why correct answer becomes neither 1 nor 2, okay? Coming to last question, the controversial Yasukuni Shrine recently in news is located in which of the following countries? First of all, this shrine is a Japanese shrine in Tokyo, which was built in memory of those who died in the wars between 1867 and 1951 while serving the Emperor of Japan. So many of these people have been convicted of war crimes by an international military tribunal for the Far East in the aftermath of the World War II. So 14 of these people were convicted for crime against peace as Class A war criminals. So this shrine operates the Yushukan War Museum, which has been criticized for giving a revisionist interpretation of Imperial Japan's history, and Izokukai, which is the de facto lay organization as considered by the shrine, changed its original purpose in the year 1953 from seeking world peace to seeking praise for the spirits of war dead. Okay, so this lies in Japan. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any review, suggestion and feedback, you can tell us in the comment section. And now we will meet again with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. And please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.